And here we go. Digital Adele back with another Hoops Profile Beyond the Backboard podcast for you with my co host, Matt Hanifan. How are you doing today, Matt?
Sorry, I had myself on mute for a second. I'm
That's all
doing
right.
good, man. I'm doing good. I've been running around all day. Just got home not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Before we start, um, one, I have a couple things. One, I know we're going to be doing our tier list today. I know that this isn't really like a segue into it, but
Mm-hmm.
congratulations on Darian Williams for being number one on our tier list.
Hey,
Uh,
there it is. Give it
yeah,
away.
listen, I knew it was going to come at some point. I didn't expect it to be today, but congratulations, Darian Williams, for being number one on our tier list. Two, jokes aside, this is more of like a segue into what we're going to talk about today.
Mm.
VJ Edgecombe.
Ooh.
Uh, Lately, he's been very, very good. I don't know the specificity of some of the injuries that have been going on with Baylor, but I know they are dealing with a couple of injuries, specifically in their backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's been awesome, the last, 3, 4, 5 games. Is he like back to being a top five guy now?
Absolutely, he's in that conversation with the athletic profile, the way he's able to control his athleticism, which he wasn't able to do before. He's definitely in that conversation. There's no way to keep him out of it. He's playing his way into it. And what's really impressive to me, not only is the defense and picking his spots, not turning the ball over as much, he's getting really on balance with his jump shot, which is making it more consistent. And if he can hit that outside shot, good luck guarding that guy because he will attack the close and be by you in the blink of an eye. Yeah,
Yep.
he's the real deal, man. Real deal.
Yeah, his shot making, I feel like it early in the season, how we were talking about, like, he just couldn't, like, there wasn't consistency with it. And,
Right.
like, that and the on ball reps
Mm-hmm.
with the decision making, like, if you would be like a secondary creator, like, it just wasn't consistent, specifically against, like, better competition.
Right.
And I feel like you're seeing, it finally start to come together now. So I want to pose that question to you again. I know we're going to be talking about our tier list. I know Darren Williams is going to be one. We don't even have to have the conversation.
Yeah, he's going to be at the very top,
No,
right?
yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man, let's jump into it. I'm excited to do this. Hopefully not break my brain like I do every single time I do a big board. Tiers
Yeah,
are a little bit easier for me, even though there's still conversations to be had everywhere.
there's definitely conversations to be had. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. So we're going to go away and you're going to be able to see us. And we're gonna go through this tier list. We're gonna kind of talk through it. There's no right or wrong answer. It's very early in the process. These things can change as they always do. And it's not really an exact science either because we're using a rank a streamer list, which is ranking YouTube and Twitch streamers software for our tier list because that's how we roll around here. Let me share my screen. Tearing my background off. There it is. Let's turn Matt and I's. Well, I might. Let's see. Say something, Matt. Say something again.
Test.
Okay.
1, 2.
So the thing is, they will not be able to hear you if I turn your camera off. So I'm going to leave yours on. And I'm just going to take mine off. But we're going to do some things to make this a little bit more viable. Give me a second. And where's the webcam things? Turn off all the fancy graphics. And there you go. So let me just minimize this a little. And people can see it. There they go. Now they can see the whole tier list and your face. So the very first rank, which will be the S rank, which will stand for superb. Who do you have, Matt, in that superb rank?
My top tier, it's just one person, and it's Cooper Flag.
So the aforementioned Cooper Flag sits alone in the S tier.
I think a better way to do this would be like him being above like an S plus tier, if you can like do that.
Well,
Because I think like for him, there's so many guys who could be S tier
right.
just because of how talented they are. But I
Hmm.
think he does. I personally, I think he belongs in his own tier.
Okay.
No disrespect to anyone else in this draft class, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, we will make that happen just for our one and only Matt Hanifan.
Okay. I don't know if that's deserving. People might get mad at me or whatever, but that's okay.
I mean, I'm upset at you already.
That's fine. That's par for the course.
Ryan says he's been waiting on tiers and hope all is well. Matt, stay away from the Terry props.
Hey, listen, man. I made a joke on playback last night about like, what if Terry was just like betting all of his unders? Like,
You did?
I did. I don't think many people heard it. It was like some point during the game when he was like scoring a bunch of his points because he did have like a good scoring game last night.
Right.
I said that as a joke. I didn't think something like this would come out today, albeit it was just one game when he was with the Hornets, but that's neither here nor there.
Matt, the people are saying you knew.
I listen, I will 100% confirm to you that I did not know.
Right.
Single.
I got you, Matt. So hold on. Let's just get this board back up to where we need it to be. So that's the S tier. Cooper Flag is on the S plus tier per Matt Hanifan.
Yeah, I think he belongs in his own tier because I just think he's far and away the number one. Not far and away, maybe that's a little bit overstating it, but I think he's like the clear number one.
The clear number one. No, he's borderline a generational prospect. We're not quite sure if he is, right? Is that a good way to put it?
Yes, I have told you before on here that I just don't like the generational thing, but like he's as close to being one without actually being one in my brain.
Gotcha. And in just Matt Hanifan's brain is a dangerous place to be.
Years old, or 19 years. He just turned 19, or he just turned 18. Like, that's crazy.
Correct. He just turned 18. He's a very young bucko, as Eternal would say.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to move on to the S rank, as they say in Naruto's universe. And we're going to start with Kasper Siakachonis. Would you agree or disagree?
Agree.
All right, there he goes. Kasper Siakachonis is on the S tier. And just for people that may have, or, just may now be tuning in and may not have heard any of this stuff before from us, Kasper Siakachonis can do it all, man. He's got poise beyond his years. Freshman, he can score off the bounce. He can spot up and shoot off ball. He gets into the lane, draws lots of fouls. Super strong. He's built like freaking Captain America. Better competitively, defensively than people would think. He rebounds well. He passes well. This guy is a stud, man.
It feels like his defense isn't talked about much.
It isn't. It isn't talked about nearly enough. It's not talked about nearly enough. I agree with you, Matt. Who else do you have on this tier?
Would we have Ace on this list?
I would absolutely put Ace Bailey on this list.
I know he's a polarizing prospect. He's even polarizing for myself.
Right.
I know I make the jokes all the time that he's like, 6'2". Every single good game that he has, I bump him up an inch.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be 7'4" by the time the season's over. I know he's had a couple of very good games lately. He had a very good game last night that I have not been able to watch yet. But for the people, go watch Ace Bailey. He has some of the, if you're just looking for pure highlights, I know that's not what we should be doing as draft evaluators, but if you just want a 5-minute highlight tape of Ace Bailey, no one better in the class has a better 5-minute highlight tape than Ace Bailey does. Just from the shot making that he can provide. Again, there's still some stuff about his game that I would like for him to improve, but he's an exceptional shot maker, and he's fun to watch when he has it all going for him. So he's definitely, I think, he belongs in this tier.
I couldn't agree with you more. There's a couple of things too that I want to say in regards to that. It's not just about the highlights. He is an elite shot maker from every single part of the floor. Inside, outside, mid-range, he's a 3-level scorer, and he does it over contested defense every single night.
Yeah.
He's getting better at handling the ball on the perimeter. He's getting better at facilitating. He's good on the glass. He'll block shots because he's 6'10", not 5'9", like Matt Hanifan thinks. And he does it all, man. He's very close to being in that conversation with Cooper Flagg in terms of can he change your franchise around? He's definitely a franchise-changing type prospect. His backcourt, his running mate, Dylan Harper, for some reason his picture didn't save. So we're going to cover both guys under the Rutgers emblem. Do you believe he's on that same tier with Casp and Ace Bailey?
Yeah, he's number 2 on my board. So
absolutely.
I know I just mentioned Ace as like someone who you'd have a conversation about, but no, Dylan Harper, number 2 on my board, unquestionably belongs in this S tier.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Give me 1 second. We've lost Matt Hanifan. We're going to get him right back. Good old Streamlabs is Streamlabbing today. All right, I got you back. You disappeared. You're back.
Okay.
So let's move on. So Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, do it all, point guard, big body, defender, getting better at his outside shot, but that's his biggest weakness at this point. He'll facilitate, he'll rebound, block shots. Probably the best on-ball defender in the class in terms of the guys, to two-way players. Like out of all the two-way players in the class, probably the best on-ball defender out of the two-way guys in the class. We got Kasper Jakachonis. Is there anybody else on that tier with those guys? Can I interest you in a Trey Johnson?
I was going to say, I mean, I guess you can, yeah. I was going to say, again, this kind of goes along to what I was asking beforehand. Should VJ be on this list?
I was saving him for last.
Okay.
There was a reason. So since you went there, we'll skip Trey Johnson. VJ Edgecombe is quickly putting himself in a conversation to be, again, in that same realm of prospect as Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, and Kasper Jakachonis. Like his athletic profile, and what's going to be very interesting and not make or break, but very interesting for me as an evaluation standpoint is his measurables. Because I believe he's very explosive. I'm very curious if that explosiveness doesn't make him play taller than he actually is, and his wingspan is bigger than they actually listed as. Where is he on these? There he is. There's my guy, VJ Edgecombe. But if he can knock down that outside shot consistently, it's going to be very, very interesting, how that all plays out. So we have VJ Edgecombe. The tournament's going to be really big for him too. Like,
assuming Baylor makes it.
If Baylor makes it, if they make it, and he can get in, and Rutgers isn't going to make it. I don't see how Rutgers makes it.
Yeah, they got to win their conference tournament, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, so he's not going to get to play again. That's disheartening to me. I'm not going to get to see Dylan Harper versus VJ Edgecombe. I'm not going to get to see Ace Bailey against that Baylor team. I don't think they play each other, so that's going to be very disheartening. But if Baylor makes it, what he does in the tournament could very well solidify his spot in this tier.
Correct.
Trey Johnson. What do you think? Does Trey Johnson make this tier?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I think you and I are higher on Trey Johnson than the consensus. But yes, I would have him in this tier. He'd probably be if I'm being honest, he'd probably be the last guy I have in this tier.
I was going to say, so no bigs in this tier.
I wouldn't.
No Malawach. Okay. All right. No. So here's my thing with Trey Johnson. He's one of the best scorers in the entire country. Bar none, period. 19.9, almost 20 points per game. And he's the leader as a freshman of that group. His intangibles, his fire, his fight, his work ethic. Those are all the things, in addition to his scoring, that put him in that tier to me. If he was just a scorer and didn't have those things, I don't think he'd make that tier. But the fact that the staff has to hold him back from overtraining, that says a lot for his trajectory and his growth, being a freshman and translating at the next level. For those folks that are watching, we're just getting started. We have more prospects to put on this tier list. So I do appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to be giving away channel memberships today as well for the very end of January. So they'll randomly go out to anybody that's subscribed, but you have to be subscribed. And you have to have turned memberships on. So if you see that little money icon on the bottom of your screen, you don't have to donate or anything like that to get a channel membership. You just got to make sure you have accept to be able to accept the memberships on. So just a little caveat. So we are going to be giving away those channel memberships, so stick around to the end. So that brings me to some of the bigs, right? Trey Johnson's the last one to get into that tier. Kaman Malawach has to be leading the charge for the A tier. Is that right?
I mean, you could go a number of routes with this, but you'd be someone that I'd have in there.
Do you think he deserves to be in the A tier?
Yes.
Okay.
It's, again, I'll say this again. I know a lot of his buckets aren't self-created, but he's so flippin' ginormous. Like, you just throw it up like anywhere within a 10-mile radius of Kaman Malawach, and he's going to go up and get it. I think he's like an improved rebounder, an improved shot blocker. He's shown flashes in space defensively. I don't know if that's going to carry over. He's 7'2". Like, I just love some of the physical. I love some of this, some of the physical stuff, like the physical traits that he has. In addition to, like, they're not asking him to do a lot, and so I think that may limit his floor.
Right.
But I do think he has like a strong ceiling if he gets put in the right situation.
Yeah.
And I think that's. Go on.
No, I was gonna say, you make a great point. If he gets into a situation like Lively did,
yeah,
I mean, watch out.
Yeah, like, I think that will determine his ceiling. So I think, again, that is, it's kind of hard to project how he will be because I don't know which team he's going to be on. Like, this is just like I'm just throwing this team out there, not saying it would fit, not fit, whatever. But like, if you got drafted to like the Wizards, you'd be like, no.
Right. No.
But if you got drafted to a team like the Thunder, for example,
oh my goodness.
Like, that is somewhere where I'm like, okay, like, again, I know it's like 5 outs, pace and space. That's what they want to do. They have Chen,
San Antonio,
Jay Wills, et cetera, et cetera. But like, if you're just talking about a guy that can be a big body and that won't have to do too much right away, like, I don't know, man. I'd like that from a lot more than I would for, like, if he was just putting like a bad team. Like, San Antonio is another, like, imagine he and Wemby.
Oh my God, that'd be
That's
nuts.
A dangerous front, like, whether it's Wemby coming up or whether it's Malawach coming off the bench, whether it's Malawach, God forbid they start him next to Wemby, but like you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
I think that's you put him with Castle, someone who can, play make, use him as a vertical spacer, like,
right.
I don't know. I would very much like, that kind of fit for him. But again, I think it's situation dependent, which, again, if someone were to say, well, if it's situation dependent, why is he in the A tier? Fine, whatever. But I just like the physical stuff that he brings. And I think he's only getting better as the season goes on.
Give us a second. Somehow we've lost Matt Hanifan again, but we will bring him right back. No idea why we lost him a second time. Just give me one moment. But yeah, so Malawach, man, outstanding player. He's one of those guys, he's dominating the paint. If you look at his per 36 stats, he's like 72% from the paint. A lot of that stuff is off of hard rolls. He blocks shots, he rebounds, does a lot of that stuff, man. So I really, really like Kaman Malawach. We're going to stick with his Duke brethren, and as soon as we get Matt back, we're going to talk about Con Knipple, K2, as they call him. So we'll see where if K2 if I can convince Matt that he may belong in that tier above. We're gonna talk about that. I'm not convinced myself he deserves to be there, but we shall see. All right, let's see. Bear with me here. As we try to get the one and only Matt Hanifan back. There he is. He's back. He's back. What's up, Matt? Welcome back, bro.
They keep kicking me off, man.
Don't let Streamlabs get you down, man.
Hey, listen. They heard me talk about Come On Mile Watch, and they're like, nope.
Get this guy off the screen.
Like he's only getting better as the season goes on, and he's still very young. Like
absolutely.
I think he should be in this territory again, even though not a lot of very, very few of his buckets, if any, are self-created, which can be a knock, but I'm okay with it for now.
Oh, I think Ace Bailey was this guy in the suit right here. I think this is Ace Bailey. There he is. So I wanted to talk to you about K2, sticking with the theme of the Duke Blue Devils. Does K2 deserve any consideration for that S tier with Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson, VJ Edgecombe, Casp?
I don't know. I don't think so.
He's a flat-out knockdown shooter. He's a good defender, much better defender than people give him credit for. Has a very high basketball IQ. He attacks closeouts superbly, way better than people would think. And he's probably their second best creator offensively in terms of getting people involved.
Would you not have Proctor there?
No, I would not.
Not for the audience, not Proctor in the A tier or S tier. I mean, like as a creator.
As a creator, no. He's not really a creator. Ryan says Matt's giant feet keeps pulling the power cord.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so you wouldn't have K2 lower than the A tier though, so no chance he's in the B tier.
No, right. I wouldn't have him in the B tier. He's an A tier guy for me. Do you think he's S tier?
I don't. I don't think he has the foot speed to be able to carry a franchise at the next level in any way. I don't think he could be a guy, 1A guy, or even a 1B guy. I think he'll be a very good 2A or maybe a third guy on a winning team.
I agree.
Thomas Sorber, one of my favorite prospects in this entire draft, rising from the ashes. Thomas Sorber, he's getting better every single day, every single game. He's strong as an ox as a freshman. He's showing better and better touch around the rim, better and better touch on his three-point shot, on his mid-range shot. He's good defensively, typically has good body discipline, stays down, plays verticality really well. He rebounds, block shots. What are your thoughts on Sorber?
Him being in the A tier,
A tier.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Again, we talked about it before, his verticality, his touch around the rim, his feel for the game, his ability to direct traffic when he needs to, his communication, his physicality that he's, continuing to learn how to play through. Now, he's someone I like a ton. I've said it before on here. I believe in his long-term, shooting potential. He has good free throw touch. I know he's flashed the mid-range touch, the three-point shooting. I know the percentages aren't high from those two areas, but he's flashed it before. I think he will over a period of time. He's a throwback big, excellent footwork, which I know you say throwback big nowadays and people kind of back away,
Right.
But I think he's someone like with the coordination with the hands, um, the physicality. Uh, he's someone I like a ton. I love his all around game. I love his. I think he has a solid floor right now, and I think he has even a higher upside if he continues to develop offensively and even defensively. Um, he's someone I like a ton. So yeah, no, I think he belongs in the A tier.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I don't think there's any way you could put Sorber in that B tier. Another guy who I think belongs firmly in this A tier is Asa Newell. I think he's fantastic. The sky's the limit for that kid as well. The more he improves that outside shot, the more his game's going to open up. One thing I've noticed, he's gotten way more confident as the season goes on. And when he decides to make a move inside, he makes it with quickness, suddenness, and he is explosive around the basket. He'll block shots, he'll rebound. Really love him as a prospect. What are your thoughts on Asa Newell?
Yeah, man, like the fluidity for him being 6'11" is pretty nuts. Like again, the shot is coming like I think he's showing more confidence in it as time goes on.
Right.
It's still not, again, the results still aren't super consistent yet. He still needs to, bulk up in the weight room.
Right.
Like those are things that he'll need to improve over time. But like the fluidity, the just the movements, I really really like with him. The rebounding,
right.
Him defensively, like he's all the flashes for him are there. He's just been incredibly productive, big,
right,
right away. And I think that can't go unnoticed. So yeah, he's another player that I have in this A tier.
Absolutely. And the only caveat for his game that keeps him out of that S tier is not just the 3-point shooting, but the fact he's only 205 pounds.
Yeah.
Like other than that, I really don't have any complaints about his game. This is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Boogie Fland, he's out for the year with a broken hand. He's one of my favorite point guards in the entire class. One of my favorite point guards in the class. He is, dynamite in the passing lanes. He's got some of the fastest hands. I mean, if he didn't play basketball, he probably could be a boxer. He's got some of the fastest hands in the class. He's a good shot maker, struggles in the paint with the physicality of finishing at the rim, but he facilitates. He's a team guy, doesn't give you any problems, and he plays hard all the time. I myself would put Boogie Fland in this A tier.
Ooh.
Where would you put Boogie Fland, Matt?
If there was a tier in between A and B, that's where I'd put it. Like, well, I don't.
This doesn't work that way, Matt. We can't slide people in between tiers. Like, he's not going to just hover right here. He's got to go in one or the other.
That's tough.
We got to come to a consensus on this, Matt.
I know. That's tough. I would probably have him in the A tier, but like it's so close. I mean, if he's not in the A tier, he'd be leading the B tier.
Right.
And I know not all of these are in sequential order based on like how we like, but like he'd be the guy that's like, if he's not in the A tier, he's like top of the B tier. Right. I'm trying to think of like, I probably would have him in the A tier. I know, again, like he's probably lower on people's boards now that he's hurt. He doesn't have like a grand sample.
Tankathon,
27 on Tankathon?
Yeah, Tankathon slid him down all the way to 27 after he got hurt.
Disagree respectfully.
He's shooting 84% from the free throw line, 37% from three. To our point, he's only finishing at like 39% from the field, which is rough.
I've talked about his finishing, and like that's something that's worrisome.
Right.
But I love him defensively. I love his playmaking.
His assist to turnover ratio is a 3.68.
Yeah. And again, I've said this before. I know this isn't like a great analysis for evaluating a prospect because not all prospects are the same, obviously. Right. But I just trust guards who play under Cal.
Right.
Not named Rob Dillingham.
Well, because he was historically small? Is that what you
mean?
Rob Dillingham, too, has actually quietly put together some very efficient minutes this season in terms of scoring the ball.
Yeah, he has, especially lately.
But he also averages like an astronomical amount of turnovers per game, and he also literally fouls all the time because he can't guard anybody.
Yeah.
So like it's hard to play a guy that you can't trust to defend. I lost Jaeger Denman's picture, and I don't know where he went because we haven't talked about Denman yet, and I think he's in this tier.
The A tier?
I think he's no the next because we're about to come up to the next.
Okay. I was gonna say like after the way he's played.
Do you have somebody else in the A tier?
No.
Okay, I don't either.
I would. I mean, like if I'm putting Flan there, I would think.
Let me get Jaeger's picture back, by the way.
I would think about putting Queen there, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, I am not putting Queen in that A tier, dude.
Well, I have him. I say that because as of right now, I haven't really updated it, but I have them close together on my board.
Right.
But I'm higher on Flan than I am Queen.
Yeah.
Pretty, not heavily, but like it's like point blank.
Right. I got you.
So that's where I would kind of start that B tier with Jaeger, with perhaps Derek Queen. I mean, I know we can get into it, but
right. All right. Well, I got everything back. I've got Jaeger up here now. So this is where I would put Jaeger. Jaeger's in the B tier. He's below Fland. He's below. Actually, you know what? If Fland is in that A tier, Denman has to be up there too.
I would see. I have Fland higher than Denman. Respectfully.
Let me say it this way. I do too. I think Denman's had a very rough stretch of games against good competition. The last game, though, that he played against good competition, he played well. He didn't play great, but he played well. The problem I have with him is his athletic profile isn't going to be good enough to get away with some of the stuff offensively that he gets away with in college. But he's got a good feel and he's got a good IQ about him. So this could change by the time it comes draft time, but we're not going to know because Fland isn't going to play. So so maybe we put Denman in the B tier and we'll see how he finishes the season. Maybe he could play his way into the A tier.
Right.
So maybe we do keep him at the B tier. I'm down with that. The international guys we're going to save for last because Matt hasn't watched any of them.
Yeah, you can put them anywhere.
I could literally put them anywhere and he would have no idea. So we're going to save them for last. Is there anybody else you would consider in the A tier? Danny Wolf, Queen.
No.
Keon Catchings.
I'm just looking at the draft board right now. I don't have them there.
Okay, cool. So let's kick off the B tier. Derek Queen, B tier.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think he's absolutely in the B tier. Good offensively, skilled. I have motor concerns. I've concerns about him athletically, his athletic profile, his jump shooting. Big question marks about his jump shooting. I think last year's class of big men is better than people are going to give it credit for. And I think outside of Malawach and Sorber, I think this crop of big men may be disappointing. Newell, great talent, as we said, but being 205, I'm really curious of how that translates in the NFL, in the NBA. If we're going to talk Queen, we got to talk Murphy Boyles next because those two are like linked at the hip in terms of comparisons and how they play. Do you think Boyles is deserving of the B tier? Because I actually don't.
I would probably put him there. But I say that I preface by saying that like I think a bunch of players would belong in this B tier. Like I have like a bunch of players in my mind like grouped together.
I am so low on Boyles because he's 6'7", and the fact that he doesn't really shoot the three well.
That's the argument against.
And he doesn't really defend great either. Like, when he's on the court with good players, you barely notice him.
I think he moves his feet well enough.
Yeah, because he's 6'7".
But I'm saying, like, I think he moves his feet well enough where I would be like, I don't think he's like a net negative defensively.
Yeah,
because he's he's very productive as well.
Right, he's definitely productive, but not against good competition.
Look, I'm looking at some of the numbers now just to refresh.
Yeah, refresh your memory before we move on, because
just conference play this year, 13 points, 8 rebounds.
Okay.
Again, not shooting the ball well at all. 2 steals a game, 1.3 blocks.
Yeah, that's good. It's actually not bad. Not bad.
2.5. I mean, 3.3 stocks is not something to scoff at. But again, like the part that I am concerned about, as long with like he is an undersized big, and like I just don't know what his role is going to be at the next level offensively. Like I think he'll get on the floor because of his defense, because of how productive he is, and like he can maybe defend a couple positions here and there, but like you can't be a non-spacer offensively and be a 4 or 3 or whatever position he's actually going to be.
What's his facilitation numbers like?
You can't properly function. He's 2.6 assists in conference play.
How many?
Let me look at his turnovers again.
You said 2.6?
Yes.
Oh, no.
2.6 to 2. It's a negative assist to turnover ratio.
Oh, no.
Again, I don't know what his role offensively is going to be if he can't shoot.
Matt,
that's the thing.
You just talked him into the C tier, buddy. You just told me, because listen to what you just told me. Offensively, he's not going to have a role that's easily identifiable because he can't shoot. He's undersized. He doesn't facilitate well. Right?
Correct.
Okay. How does he get on the floor?
Defense.
He's that good of a defender.
Well, I'm saying like that's if that would be the case.
But do you see why
I'm not saying like he's going to get on the floor because he's an elite defender.
But do you see why I mean he has to be in the C tier then?
Yes, but I have him grouped in the B tier because I have a lot of different players in the B tier. That's my point.
I get that, but like,
or at least in my head right now, he would be a B tier player.
You think he's on the same tier with Denman?
Considering how low I am on Denman, yes.
I as low as I am on Denman, I don't think it's even a conversation between Denman and Boyles. I really don't. I think the Boyles thing is being overstated. I don't think he's nearly NBA ready prospect material. Like everything you've told me basically convinced. Yeah, but that's why I'm saying he's got to be in that C tier. Like Derek Queen, I'm not even convinced he's technically a B tier. I mean, I get it because of the scoring. He's skilled, but he can't shoot, can't defend really well. He's got good hands. He's got a little bit of motor concerns. I don't know, man. I think
what you and I are like saying the same thing, but like we have all of these B tier guys in the C tier.
All right, well, let's come back. We'll circle back. How's that?
You know what I mean? Like I have a bunch of them grouped in the B tier, but there is a considerable drop off from the A tier to the B tier. I think that's what you and I are both kind of saying, but just in different ways. I
agree. But let's circle back. We'll circle back after we put all these people in, and we'll talk about whether people should stay or be moved down. Danny Wolf, sticking with the big man theme. Does he deserve to be in the B tier?
Sure.
You don't sound convinced.
I only like if we have Queen in there. Oh wait, I'm looking at you have.
I've got Denman.
C tier.
Yeah, I kept him in the C tier for now. We'll circle back.
Yeah.
We'll circle back. We got Wolf. We got Queen.
Yeah, because there's a couple guys in the B tier that. Yeah. Okay.
What about Liam? We haven't even talked about Liam yet.
I would have Liam in the B tier.
Yep, B tier. Okay. He's played better of late. his percentages are getting better. He still has like specialist at the next level written all over him. He doesn't do.
I don't know if it's I don't think it's a knock.
Well, it is, because like K2, for example, is a knockdown shooter just as good as Liam is, but he does so much more for you everywhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You can be a really good player and be a specialist. Like,
well, yeah,
like Duncan Robinson. I know he's like an elite level shooter.
Yeah, but he's also undrafted.
Yeah.
So like,
that's true. But you can make a lot of money as a specialist, especially
you
if you're
can.
a 3-point specialist.
You definitely can, and that's, I agree. But when we're ranking the prospects in tiers, I don't know if you playing one side of the ball, and on that one side of the ball, the only thing you do is shoot well. Like, here, let me pull up his tankathon numbers real quick. Where's my guy Liam? All the way down at 17 these days. He's shooting 85% from the foul line. He's shooting 38% from three, and he's shooting 42% from the field. 43. We'll give him we'll round up. He only facilitates 2.6 assists per game. Turnovers 1.4. That's a 1.89 assist to turnover ratio. Not great, Bob. Defensive box plus minus, not great. Defensive win shares, not great.
2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio is good for someone who isn't labeled a facilitator now.
I mean, his usage.
Like, if we're just doing it like in a vac, like, yeah, if you're comparing him to like guards, sure, but like
we're comparing
him
a
3-point specialist. I think a near 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio is like not a bad thing. Not saying he's a great facilitator, but
we're comparing him to the B level player, like for example, Jaeger Denman. Right? Like, that's who he's being compared against. His athletic profile isn't on that level. I mean, they say he's 6'8". Is he a legit 6'8"? But 6'8", 6'8", 185? 185 is rough.
He looks bigger than 185.
I agree with that. But so this is what I mean, but it's all one side of the floor and more specialist kind of stuff. His rebounding numbers are surprisingly good. 5.8 rebounds per game.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly good. I want to compare him to Denman, actually. I know we're taking up a lot of time for Liam McNeely, and no one asked for us to do that, but here we are.
I mean, like, they're two totally different players in terms of their skill set.
They are.
Like, how could we earnestly compare them?
So is there another? So let me compare him to K2, because that wouldn't be fair.
It wouldn't be, but I'm just saying, like, he obviously not as good as K2. If we have him having him in the same tier as Denman and
I got another guy for you. What about Ian Jackson? Does he deserve to be in this tier?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. He'd actually be one of like the top guys in this tier, no?
Yes, he would. So could I compare him to Liam?
Sure.
I think that would be a good comparison. What is Liam's considered a small forward in this class? I think. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, like a 3-4.
Yeah. So we're gonna delete him, because we're definitely not comparing him to Cooper Flagg. So Ian Jackson, compare players. Here's what we got. We have
still like a little bit of a different kind of player, but yeah.
So we have Ian Jackson's per 36 stats below, because they only compare per 36 for some reason. But Ian Jackson, 19 points per game to 16.1 for Liam. 4.6 rebounds to 6.8 per 36 for Liam. 1.2 assists to 3 assists for Liam. Blocks are identical. Steals are identical almost. Turnovers are identical. There you have it, Matt. He's the better prospect in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to get into the defensive stuff because, well, actually, all of Ian Jackson's percentages, except for free throw shooting, is better than Liam.
Yeah. And it's not like a crazy big gap, but
Well, the field goal percentage, so like scoring in the lane is definitely going to be better than Liam's, like
Yeah,
48%.
he's definitely a better finisher than that's
Right. Like his effective field goal percentage is like 56% to Liam's like 52. Um so this is my question, cuz like when you look at the defensive like box plus minus stuff and win shares, defensive win shares, uh the actual that stuff, it's very close. It's not very close, I mean. So I guess you've made your case, and I think you're right. I've come around. You've convinced me, Matt. The numbers have convinced me. Liam deserves to be on that B tier.
Yeah.
All right. What about Drake Powell? Sticking in North Carolina.
No.
Oh, okay. We'll leave him on a C tier for now. So no, that's a no. Todd Pettiford.
You've watched him more than me.
Yeah.
So I'll let you have the floor for that.
I love Todd Pettiford, dude. I actually love his game. I think the injury, unfortunately, to I forget who got injured for Auburn, but that injury opened the door for Todd Pettiford to get more minutes, and he has been fantastic, dude. He's been absolutely fantastic.
It was Broom, right?
No, but I don't think Broom was the reason he got on the floor to start.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me see if they have him. They don't even have Tankathon's crazy, dude. They don't even have him on here for me to select.
That's tough, man.
Yeah. So let's go here. So there's Pettiford. So let me start with this. I'll start with this. The only knock that I have on Pettiford is that he's tiny, dude. He's like 6'1". I'll be shocked if he's 180 pounds. Like, I'll be shocked. So it's kind of that Rob Dillingham type of conversation. Like, his measurables, like his wingspan and hand size are going to really tell me a lot about his viability at the next level. But he's one of the best tough shot makers in the league at any size. And he's clutch. Like, I know clutch isn't really a big stat that analytics people love, but that dude, when the game's on the line for Auburn or they're down in the fourth quarter, they say, Pettiford, here's the ball. Bring us back to like.
Clutch is a thing.
I agree. Clutch is a thing.
I'm a very big like analytics guy, but like you do think about this. You shoot a basketball with no money on the line.
Right.
You're more comfortable. If you put $100 on the line, if you make this shot like that, it applies pressure, man.
That's exactly it. It's how well you perform under pressure. It definitely changes as the games get tighter. And Pettiford's one of those guys that can play exactly the same when the pressure's on as he did when the game started. He reminds me a lot stylistically of Brandon Jennings. I think he's a little bit headier than Brandon Jennings. Like, he's not a little less selfish than Jennings, but I think his style reminds me a lot of Jennings. What about his teammate Broom? Does he belong on that B tier?
Not. He's been so awesome this year, but as like a draft prospect,
correct.
Not yet.
I agree with you. I don't think he's there yet. What about somebody that's caught my attention from the time I scouted Denman to now when he's finally getting like heavy minutes? Keon Catchings. He's a freshman, super long, super lanky, the nephew of Tamika Catchings. It's a great shooter for his size. Do they have him on Tankathon yet? Probably not, because Tankathon's always behind. Let's see. Is he on here? Nope. No Catchings. What do you think?
I wouldn't have him there yet, but I do like him as a player from what I've seen.
So C tier due to limited reps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to see more. There's a couple guys that I'd throw on this B tier though.
Well, so you brought me to the next guy, and that is Rasheer Fleming.
Ooh.
He is on Tankathon.
I was gonna say if he's in the B tier, he's like at the back end of the B tier for me.
So
I limited watching experience, but I've loved what I've seen, even
yeah,
though he is a little bit of an older prospect.
I mean he's only 20. He'll be 21 on draft night.
Okay, I guess that was slightly younger than I thought.
He's
I
a
thought he
little
was
bit
20.
younger.
In my head, he was 21 already.
Yeah, no, he's not. And so he's averaging like 16 points per game. He's shooting 40% from three, 56% from the field, averages 9 rebounds per game, a block and a half per game, a steal and a half per game. Doesn't really turn it over. Now, don't get me wrong, he doesn't really facilitate that much, but he's a good two-way player that you could find later in this draft. I think he's a B-tier player.
He's gonna dunk on your head too.
He is explosive. He will also dunk on your head, man. I think he's a B-tier guy.
Okay, that's fair. There's a couple others that I would throw in here that we haven't talked about yet.
Okay, fire away, man. Fire away. Who else do you think should be up there?
Cam Jones.
There he is. I was going to go to him next. There he is. Cam Jones.
Yeah, Cam Jones, and then I don't know if you have him on here, but Fears.
Yeah, he's here somewhere. I think this is him right here. Is that Phylon? I can't tell. Is that Fears or Phylon?
That's Phylon.
Okay. Where's Fears? Oh, I don't have him on here. I thought I saved him.
I don't see him on there.
Give me a sec. I'll get him on here.
But he would be like again. Well, but when I'm talking about B tier, like I think he's like towards the back end of that.
Right. Oh, you know what they did? The picture for Harper. So this is actually Fears. Right there. The R and the I, for some reason, when it's saved, that's Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper.
Oh.
Their picture's just saved as an R and an I. Don't know why. But yeah, this is Jeremiah Fears right here. So you think Fears is a B tier guy?
If he's a B tier guy, he's the back end of it. You can talk me into him being.
No, I'm asking you. Where do you think he should go?
I'd say B tier.
Okay, so he's back end B tier guy. But if you say that, he's been outplayed head to head by Phylon.
That is true. That did happen.
So Phylon's got to be up there too, because they're almost the same age. Like I think they're pretty much the same age. Let's go back to point guards for a second. Phylon.
While that is the case, I think Fierce has been better than Phylon, the consummate.
Okay.
But yes.
Let's see what the numbers say.
Phylon was better head to head.
So points per 36, Fears, of course, scores more points per 36. Rebounds goes to Phylon. Assists go to Phylon. Turnovers, he takes care of the ball better than Fears per 36.
That's probably the biggest gap in my head.
Neither one of them can shoot threes very well right now. They're both sub 30% three-point shooters, which is keeping them off that next tier that they were already at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive stuff is pretty much the same. Actually, no. Phylon is
Phylon's
crushing him defensively.
That makes sense.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Fears is a B guy, dude. And if you do have Fears on that B tier, you have to have Phylon on that.
That's fine.
So you want to leave them both on the B tier?
Let's see what. Okay, so let's go through these B tier guys again, because I'm sure we might lose some of these.
Okay, so B tier guys. Denman, he definitely stays.
Okay.
Queen, he stays. Wolf, I don't know, man. I don't know. His inconsistency, his fit at the next level. I mean, for a big that doesn't play big, he's a 7-footer, plays small. He's a good 3-point shooter. Doesn't create him at all off the dribble, or can't shoot it all off the dribble. Turns the ball over a lot. a lot. He's a good passer. He's creative, but dude, he just makes bad decisions sometimes with the ball.
He does too much.
He tries to do too much, and his location, like the location of some of these passes, are not where they need to be.
Yeah.
Liam's clearly entrenched in the B tier. We got Evan Jackson. He's staying, right?
Ian
Jackson's staying. Pettiford's definitely staying. Fleming, I think, should stay.
Mm-hmm.
Jones, Fears, and Phylon compared to those guys. Do you think they deserve to be there?
I would actually move them down.
Yeah, I think I would too. I'm with you.
I'd also move Danny Wolf down.
I agree with that also. I think Danny Wolf needs to go down also. So Broom catching Powell. Do you think Powell deserves to be here, or does he go down on a D tier?
See, the more I watch Drake, I say that I haven't watched many of North Carolina's games lately, but just the more I watch some of the games like earlier in the season, like I can talk myself into him as being like an upside play, but that's not necessarily someone that I would have on the B tier, or not B tier, C tier yet.
So D tier for Powell.
Yeah. Okay. And that's not. It's more so like the outside shooting. Like I just need to see it more consistently. I'm gonna look up some of these numbers because I don't know what they are off the top. But like early in the season, I was way out on him. Now I'm a little bit more back in on him. I think he's a terrific defender.
Right.
Okay, he's up to 37.5%
on three.
Yeah.
So he deserves to be moved up a tier.
Sure. Wait, but 30.3% in conference play. That's a little discouraging. Right. Albeit on only 3.2 attempts.
What about Will Riley?
Just group them together. I don't care where you have him. Just group. I'm just kidding.
He's got to be up there. He may even be a B tier guy because of the upside. And you know, I'm not a fan of Will Riley.
You and I both. I mean, I'm just looking at it right now. He's shooting 13.8% from three in conference play.
Oof. Is that good?
That's tough, man. No, it's not. For the season, he's shooting 31.3. No, he's a D tier player. I'm not. Right now, just based on what the stuff that we have now, he's a D tier player.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Will Riley at all.
That's not to say he doesn't have upside, because he does have upside. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
And I know organizations and teams will draft an upside. We saw Cody Williams go, the lottery last year?
Yes.
Like, these teams do that. But right now, for me, I'm not doing it. I don't see, like, it. I think it's a big time work in progress.
Right.
For him. So I would probably have he and Drake both in the D tier. I'm higher on Drake than I am on Will Riley. I'll just say that.
All right. No, I like it. So we can keep Drake and Will Riley in that D tier for now. This is all fluid, subject to change. What about your guy, Ryan Kalkbrenner? He's got experience. He's been in school forever. He's a good defensive shot blocking center. Is he in that D tier or should he be in the C tier?
I would have him in the D tier probably.
I mean,
but he has a very good pedigree. So if you want to put him in the C tier, that's fine.
Take the fact that he moves like a weird animal out of it.
I've made the joke before that, like, if you're imagining like a 55-year-old going out for a jog, like
a speed walking 55-year-old.
Yeah, like that's Ryan Kalkbrenner running up the court.
He'll almost be 24 on draft night. By the time the season starts, he'll almost be 24 years old.
And like I will say, like, I don't like watching him move, but like he is a very good shot blocker at the college level. He's a good screener. He's good in the low post. Like it's not like he's like a complete like bad player, but I
High
just don't
3-point
know.
percentage as well. Shoots well from three.
On how many 3-point attempts does he have?
Let me check.
There's no way it can't be that high.
7'5" wingspan, dude. What? 1.7 attempts per game.
Okay,
1.6.
that's actually
sorry.
more than I would have thought.
Right, and he's a nice free throw shooter as well.
That's true.
Almost blocks 3 shots per game.
Like, if we're being completely honest, like I just see him as like his ceiling to me is like a good backup big.
Right. I don't think he's going to be a superstar or anything like that.
Yeah,
that's why he would be.
Is that C tier or D tier?
I think it's C tier because he's going to be able to have a role in the NBA. Okay. There's like a role for that guy. Like Drake Powell, Will Riley, they may not pan out at all. Like, you have no idea.
That's true.
Kalkbrenner, even though he's going to be older than most people in the league,
he's big.
Yeah,
that's fine.
He's big and he can shoot. He's got a nice touch.
That's more than fair. You've talked me into him being a C tier player.
I let it be known and aggregated that I've talked Matt Hanifan into Ryan Kalkbrenner as a prospect. Nick Clifford, also another old guy.
He's, I think, a C tier.
C tier Nick Clifford.
I would have him as a C tier.
I have concerns about Nick. I have concerns. The problem I have with Nick is that at a small school like he's at, he's not always dominant.
Are we sure?
Yes, I'm very sure. I want to compare him to other small forwards that are in this class. Of course, it's not fair that Ace Bailey's in here, but he's in here.
Because it's like he's like their point forward.
He said, "I love the early round bigs in this draft: Kalkbrenner, Broom, and Renaud." You know, Guru-san, I've really not liked what I've seen from Renaud translating to the next level. To be honest, he gets pushed around quite a bit for how big he is. I just wasn't impressed, and I didn't get to watch a ton of games on Renaud, but I just was not impressed with him. Yeah, no, I know he's a stretch big. I know. I'm going to have to watch more games on him. Nick Clifford is going to be 23 come draft time. He does rebound the ball well, so that's good. 3-point shooting is a concern for me with Nick. His measurables are concerning. He's only 6'6", 200 pounds. He turns the ball over quite a bit, even at a small conference school like that. Facilitates okay. I don't know how well he can get his own shot. I really am not convinced of that. His defensive box plus minus stuff is good. C tier or D, I kind of have him on that D tier, man. I don't see the upside with Nick.
I think if you're, the one thing would be like upside because of how old he is.
Right.
Like that would be the argument for him being a D tier, but I think he's, as of right now, I think he's, again, this is like we've talked about this a little bit before. Him going back to Colorado State this year and then being a fringe tournament team this year solely because of what he is doing as a primary creator, in addition to the all-around stuff that he's developed over time, like the rebounding, like the facilitating, even though it's not perfect.
Right.
The defense, like I think I could talk myself into him being a C tier player.
Right.
Like a late first, early second guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like that's where I'm at with him right now, even though he has been in college for 5 years. He is going to be 23, 24 on draft night. Like he's not some young buck, but I think him being like a late first, early second, even though like he's been tasked with so much to do
right
on a night-to-night basis for a Colorado State team that is playing very well and could be a tournament team. Like they're not there yet,
right?
But they're knocking on the door. I think that's lowered his 3-point percentage a little bit, but like if you get him in more of an off-ball role at the next level, which I think he will be,
Right.
I think he'll be like a mid to high 30s 3-point shooter.
Okay.
That's not saying obviously not right there right now,
Right.
but I just think his all-around game, there's a role for him.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with him being like, if you want him to have him in the D tier because of his upside, that's perfectly fine. But I think he's like a fringe C tier guy.
Okay. No, I got you. I personally want him in the D tier just due to the limited upside that I have for him.
And the measurables to your point.
And the measurables.
Like, him being 200 pounds, I think is like, I'm not even worried about like the measurables in the sense to like how tall he is. Because I'm looking at it right now. They had him at a 6'8" wingspan last year. That's not a +2 wingspan, +3, however, like that's fine.
Right.
8'6" standing reach, 37 inch max vert, 30-inch standing vert. Like that's not terrible.
No.
With the 200 pounds thing, like I think he plays stronger than he is, but that's not always going to work at the NBA level. So.
No, you make a great point, man. You make a great point. Let's keep this thing rolling. What about your guy, JT Toppin?
He's another that I have as like a fringe C tier.
Yeah, his measurables are going to be tough, but he plays his heart out as well. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing about JT. He's good on the glass. He has that nice jump hook. I don't know if he has any counters to that jump hook.
He doesn't. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. We'll put him on the D tier as well, him and Neek. Again, thanks to everybody that got the channel memberships. I appreciate you. We're going to ramp up our draft breakdowns again, so you'll get those videos content before anybody else. Also, I'm going to start posting some notes from whenever I watch these players. So I'm going to post those also for our channel members. And I do kind of want to start doing profiles like the name of the channel says. And I might post our written profiles on each player to our channel membership group as well. So Ryan says, thanks for the channel membership, Adele. I appreciate it. You're welcome. You're welcome. We got a little bit more, a couple more prospects, and we're going to wrap this thing up for today. I know this podcast went a little bit longer than normal, but I appreciate everybody sticking with us. Let's talk about Nolan Troy real quick. Nolan Troy is one of the best point guards prospects in this entire class. Right now, the European season that gets really physical, really intense, like really matters over there, hasn't started yet. Once that starts, I can move him, like seeing how well he performs, maybe I could move him up to that S class. Right now, I'd have him in that A tier with Khan, Knipple, Malawach, Sorber, Boogie Fland, and Asandul. I haven't watched Ngogi. I can't even pronounce his name, but Noah. I haven't watched Noah enough. So I'm going to put him in that B tier. I know he's extremely talented, and I know Matt hasn't watched him at all. So we'll get back to you more in detail. Is there anybody that I've missed that we have not talked about that would be on this board?
I mean, Jace Richardson, Thiero.
That's the picture I'm looking at. That's Jace. No, that's not Jace. Do you think Jace deserves to be in any of these tiers?
Probably either C tier or D tier right now. I need to watch more.
He's very inconsistent, right? Like that's what I've gotten. He's super inconsistent. He has talent, and he's not nearly as explosive as his father. Doesn't have the measurables his father had either. He's a good, competent player, but I just think he's very inconsistent. So yeah, he'd probably be a C tier guy for me as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to just think of like anyone that comes to mind. I mean, we didn't have Broom on here, did we? No, we did.
We did. We ranked Broom.
Cadeau is someone who like could be like a C. I would probably have him in D tier, but
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Cadeau at all, man. Not a big fan of Cadeau at all. What about Carter Bryant, maybe?
I'd probably have him in the D tier as well.
If I'm being honest. Yeah. Isaiah Evans from Duke.
Is that the? I get them mixed up. Is that the one who's like a knockdown shooter?
Knockdown shooter, comes off the bench usually. Yep.
Yeah.
Got in the starting lineup for a while. Where would you rank him?
Considering how many dudes they have there, like it. When I've watched him, like there's sometimes where he does like very good things, but again, like he's in a small role, so it's difficult to evaluate his entire game.
Right.
Mark Sears is one that like I think could be like a C tier, D tier.
Ooh, even with like how long he's been in school, how small he is.
Yeah, that's probably why he would be like a D tier.
Yeah,
like the college player.
I hear you, man. That's going to be tough. They don't even have Evans on Tankathon yet. That's crazy to me. He's not even on Tankathon. Oh, well. All right. Well, that is it for us today, guys. Matt, please tell these people where they can find you, follow, and get more of your work. Matt is gone. Hold on. I'll get him back and we'll sign off. So, Matt, tell the people where they can find you, follow you, and get more of your work. And he's gone again. All right. Well, that is it for us today, guys. You can find Matt on Twitter at mph_ something or other. Some sort of numbers. You can find me, Digital Adele, anywhere social media is found. Find us also on Playback. He's a contributor there. Hot Hoops. Matt contributes there also and works there. There he is. He's back. He can tell you himself. There you go. Tell the people where they can find you, follow you, get more of your work, Matt.
At NPH_824
824 _. There it is.
That's where you can find me at on Twitter. Still not on Blue Sky. Don't know if I'll ever be on Blue Sky. I genuinely have no idea at this point. You can find me at hothoops.com, mountainwestconnection.com, vendettasportsmedia.com. You can find me on playback.tv/5RSN, where Adel and myself and others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. We watch the Miami Heat on a game-by-game basis. We talk about them. We cry about them. We laugh about them. Yeah, man, I'm everywhere doing a lot of different things for a lot of different people.
Well, I appreciate you, Matt. Thanks for helping with the tier list. This has always been fun on the podcast. I will be out of town for hopefully, if my flight doesn't. That's the other thing before I get off, guys. Thoughts and prayers to all the people that lost their lives in the DC crash. Just a super horrible tragedy that happened. If you had any family or loved ones in that area or were involved, that's really, again, my thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. There were Olympic hopefuls that were on that flight for figure skating as well. So, all the people that are involved with that and those teams, again, thoughts and prayers to that. But I'll be flying out to that same airport Saturday. Hopefully everything goes well. I'll be out of town, but we're going to try to do the podcast remotely. Hopefully everything works well for me. So we should still be on our regular schedule, Tuesdays and Thursdays. The podcast, I'll try to download them and get them up on the podcast feed. But if not, catch us live. We will be here Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.